Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's Golden Win Geekout. I'm your host, Danny. I got my co-host, Ryan, with me.
Hello.
And today we have a special guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, Lamau, everybody. It's Gigs. I don't know if you know me or not. I go by many names, and it's mostly just Gigs online. So,
yeah. Gigs has been a longtime friend of mine. We go back to the Bondo Mania Man Honest Mix days.
yes.
Yeah, that was like way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but suffice it to say, Gigs is also a JoJo fan. So, he wanted to join us, Goddamn good timing on your part, considering what happened in this week's episode.
Yeah. Suffice to say, I asked a good week.
Oh man, it's like funny enough. It's like actually, if it weren't for Gigs and another good buddy of ours, David, I probably never would have gotten more into JoJo than how I have like right now.
Yeah, I've been a JoJo fan for a good amount of time. I think since about 2013, I'd say now.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because at the time, that's when you and David were showing me like the first gameplay videos of All-Star Battle when it was initially launched in Japan.
Oh god, All-Star Battle. That sounds so like ancient now. It's like, I got Eyes of Heaven now. It doesn't matter.
All right, look, if you want your traditional arcade JoJo game, you either have JoJo's Venture for the PS1 or All-Star Battle. But if you want the Namco Bandai 3D roaming fighting game, then yeah, All-Star Eyes of Heaven should be your cup of tea.
I never thought I would be so attached to a game and go back to a game only so I could patch up characters and have them do quick quips and intros and outros. I never thought that would make a game replayable for me, but it somehow has.
Yeah, really.
All right, but suffice it to say, I guess let's talk about episode 33. His name is Diavolo. So, alrighty, so pretty much episodes pretty much just picked up where we left off. So Bruno, he's going down. And it's kind of weird because sometimes his eyesight's working, sometimes it isn't, sometimes he can't hear shit, but sometimes he can. It's weird. It was like that in the manga too, and even then it was still kind of weird because it's like, it's like, okay, he blew out his eardrums, taking Seko out, but he's still able to talk and carry on a conversation with Doppio. It's like, okay, I guess his ears are better than we thought.
I guess he just has really strong eardrums.
Or something.
Yeah, very strong eardrums for a walking, talking corpse.
Honestly, even when I read the good translations of the manga, it still didn't make any sense. The whole corpse thing, it's hard to get your brain wrapped around it. That's why I'm glad Part 5 is getting a good, not just, scrap that, not good, great adaptation, a very faithful adaptation. And because fucking the JoJo community for the longest, at least here in the West, I won't say in Japan, because in Japan it's the most popular. It got fucking clowned on constantly because of the bad translations and because of the fucking super goddamn complex stands and shit. So no one understood what was going on. We were like, what the fuck is a Giorno?
It's like at King Crimson, it just works.
I don't know. I wouldn't even say King Crimson is the most confusing stand in Part 5. I think Babyface is the more odd one. What the fuck?
Yeah, really, because it's like when you get down to it, King Crimson's ability, it's like it's nothing like too complex or anything. People will
Here.
go ahead and say, "Oh, it's just works is the most confusing stand," but when you really get down to it, it's a pretty straightforward ability.
Here,
You
guys,
know.
guys, everybody who's still out there just wondering what King Crimson does, I'm going to let you know what it does. Have you ever cut and paste in a movie project on like Sony Vegas or something? There, that's what it does. There you go.
Oh my god, you're right.
There you go.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I remember it was like a couple of weeks ago. I think like X-Force, he did like a whole video talking about like the most like batshit confusing stand like ability, and it was actually, he was not talking about King Crimson. He was actually talking about Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap from Steel Ball Run.
Yeah, there's
like,
so many other stands that are way more
like,
confusing.
And it's like, it's like I completely forgot about that, but when he brought that up and actually explained, like, the first time we saw D4C in action, it was like, oh my god, that's right. He actually brought up a really good point there. It's like, yeah, King Crimson's pretty straightforward, by comparison. Well, hell, honestly, I think even like some of the stuff that we're actually going to be getting into throughout in Part 5, it gets a little bit more batshit and confusing compared to King Crimson, but
I think I'll say this. I think the reason people get so confused by King Crimson is the way he's presented, not more his stand ability. Because it's constantly talked about that, like, he brings you into like some other weird dimension, and you can like sometimes you can like even see yourself that could have happened, and it's like Diavolo just fucking overcomplicates it like an extra fucking bitch, okay? Doesn't need to be a fucking diva about it.
Right. But it's like, yeah, this is where I think, like, yeah, David Productions has, like, really helped clarify a lot of things just by, like, just with how they've been choosing to animate the time skips and shit. That's where it's like, it's a lot clearer now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's like, that's like hell, even just with like what we were seeing in today's episode, that's like, I'm well aware that I'm skipping a little bit ahead, but it's like, we're probably going to be jumping back and forth all throughout this Geek Out. But, when we see Diavolo confronting Polnareff, it's like so many little things going on, like that we were seeing that he was just time skipping, like, all over the freaking place. It was like, we saw the whole thing where, like, Polnareff was he bit his finger and was, like, watching the drops of blood, just to see, like, okay, when exactly did he skip time? So as soon as he saw more blood appeared, he struck. So I was like, I know that was in the manga too, but it was like, all right, that was cool to see animated. But I think even when we got even to Diavolo's official reveal, because if I recall correctly, in the manga, like what we had was where, we see Doppio, he just steps behind the pillar, but then once he comes out, boom, there's Diavolo. I gotta double check this in the manga, but I think David Production actually added the bit where he actually he did the time skip right when he's about to walk, like behind that pillar. So it's like, so to Polnareff, it's like, oh, he sees Doppio, but then it's like blank, and then boom, all of a sudden there's Diavolo. I think that was an extra little detail that they added in the anime, which makes a lot of sense, really. Oh shit.
Oh no.
This is the moment. This is the moment I've been waiting for all week.
Oh no.
人の成長は未熟な過去に打ち勝つことだとな。
Oh shit.
お前もそうだろ。ジャンピエール・ポルナレフ。
Wait. Oh god.
Oh,
yes. Yes. The fucking pillar. Yes.
I fucking love that intro.
Yo. That was beautiful.
That's right up there with Dio at the top of the staircase. That's right up there, man.
Yeah, I think you're right on that one. But one thing I gotta add is just Polnareff has grown so much as a fucking character, and I'm really glad that, like, just in the manga and the anime, they've shown that through very little details, like you said, with the whole him biting his fingernails and drawing blood and all that, to spot when the time skips happen. Like, that could have been useful in something like Cream, for example.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd say Polnareff has come a long way from Stardust Crusaders.
Too bad. Too bad. He's a fucking cripple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's here's another thing that, they actually added, or, well, not so much added so much as expanded the backstory for, what the hell happened to Polnareff in between Stardust Crusaders and...
Yeah, I don't think they really added that. I don't think they really had that in the manga.
I think in the manga they explained what was going on, like in text bubbles, but we didn't actually see, you see you see Jotaro and Polnareff actually working together, talking to people, gathering information. That was not in the manga. You see Polnareff where he's physically looking for him. You see he's beating the shit out of some guy or something. That was not in the manga. I think the manga pretty much it briefly explained what it was through text bubbles, and the most that we saw was when they were on the cliff, right when Diavolo beats the crap out of him, cuts off his arms and legs, gets him in the eye, and he falls off the cliff and lands on the rock. That I remember from the manga. Everything else before that, not really.
Also, can I just say, I'm so happy that they drew faithfully to how fucking Araki drew Polnareff and Jotaro from Stardust Crusaders.
I know that was something that caught my eye when we were getting the backstory, with how Polnareff and Jotaro were looking deeper into the arrows. We see Jotaro and Polnareff. Not only were they drawn in the exact same style as how we've seen literally everything else during this anime adaptation of Golden Wind, but their design was also the exact same as how they looked in Stardust Crusaders. So seeing both of those together, they looked amazing.
Yeah, it's very true to their overall character design from part 3. It's just in the part 5 style, and it translated beautifully.
I just want to say, Jotaro finally looks like a goddamn teenager. What the fuck? Holy fuck! Can we get an amen?
Oh my god, you're right. That's a really good point. He actually looks like a teenager, as opposed to Stardust Crusaders, where it's he looks like he's in his late 30s or some shit. But you ask him, "Hey, how old are you?" He's just like, "I'm 17, still in high school." 17.
It's no, you're not.
Or
it's I know you're not.
You look like you've literally gone past your midlife crisis. And this is off topic, but I mean, when you get into part 6, I mean, it looks like he's de-aging. Meanwhile,
and he's not even a hormone user.
Oh god!
Fucking goddamn!
Next time we see Jotaro after Stone Ocean, he'll literally be turned back into a 7-year-old, like that one time in Stardust Crusaders.
And now
he really is de-aging.
And by that time, he's a dad. So we're like, what the fuck?
It's like, what is this Dragon Ball GT bullshit?
Oh god, yes. Yeah, so that was cool. We even got that little brief glimpse. I know this was in the manga panel as well. Right when Diavolo fisted Polnareff, which is what he should have done the first time, because if Abacchio and Bruno are any indication, a fisting is a guaranteed kill from Diablo. Anything else, you're gonna live. So it's just like, but it's like, I remembered, like, you see the little panel, and it's like, for like a brief second, you actually get to see, like, the rest of the Crusaders, even if it was just for a still panel. So it's like, you get to see old Joseph, you get to see Abdal, Kakyoin, Iggy with his derp face. So it's like,
Hey, listen, don't start throwing shade at Iggy here.
Oh no, I love Iggy. It's like, look at how Iggy is designed in part 3, like, where he's like, badass little adorable face. And then it's like, for whatever reason, I don't know, it's just, maybe it's the eyes or something. It's just, he looks so wonky and weird and derpy. Just in that one still shot, compared to how he looks in Stardust Crusaders. It's like, oh god, Iggy, why did you get beat with the ugly stick? You're supposed to be adorable.
Listen,
oh my god.
Listen, Iggy he is a trash boy. he comes from the mean streets of New York.
It's like, all right, look, if I've learned anything from Star Platinum or anything, you don't throw shade at Iggy. You actually throw Iggy.
You just throw Iggy.
Yeah.
You toss him like a fucking football.
Alrighty. Yeah, so I guess, like, I'm trying to think, like, so I guess, beyond that, it's like, it's like, pretty much fuck the first half of this episode, because really all anyone cares about is the second half, because, I mean, I swear to God, my Twitter timeline for the past, like, several days, everybody is still freaking out over Diablo's reveal. It's like, so I mean, it's like, what did you guys think of Diablo, like, how that reveal was animated? I mean, I already explained, I fucking loved it.
My god, I loved how they handled animating the big reveal for Diablo. The smooth transition from when Doppio goes from like one side of the pillar, then goes behind the pillar, and then as they're coming out of the pillar, that's when we actually see Diablo in all of his glory. And holy shit, he looks so much better in the anime adaptation than how he does in the games.
He really does look so much better in the fucking anime than he does in the games.
I'm honestly surprised they were even able to keep, like, as much of the details about his, like, design. Because, I mean, that's, like, it just, more so just, like, his arms, his chest, like, because he's got all this weird... He's got, like, all these, like, weird, like, I don't know what the fuck it is, like, lace or something. Like, he's got, like, all these weird, like, patterns and shit just, like, scrambled all over his upper body. And it's like...
I told you, he's like, a fucking extra bitch. He's gotta be as extra as possible.
Yeah, so it's like, and yet they were able to keep a lot of that detail, which I was definitely happy about. Because, I mean, it's like, I will freely admit, like, yes, I've stated before, between Doppio and Diablo, I am a Doppio girl. I think Doppio is just so goddamn adorable. So it's like, I definitely prefer Doppio over Diablo, but I do gotta admit, Diablo is, like, one of the coolest designed villains in all of JoJo. So I was just like, I can't wait to see how this got translated in the anime, and suffice it to say, the anime is not disappointed.
Oh, so would you say that Diablo is the more well-designed JoJo villain compared to Dio in Stardust Crusaders?
Oh no, I still say Dio in Stardust Crusaders is probably the best one. But it's up there. It's up there. Like, I would say, like, Diablo's, like, I'm talking character design, not personality or standability or anything. Just
right. I get you.
Just with how the character looks, like, Dio definitely on top, but personal bias here. And it's like, not Doppio. Yeah, Diablo. Yeah, I think Diablo is up there. It's like, Diablo, Yoshikage Kira definitely.
Yoshikage Kira, aka David Bowie.
Yeah. Then it's like, right. Then I'd probably say, like, Funny Valentine during, like, the second half of Steel Ball Run, when he's not being, like, this weird, like chubby little guy. Seriously, I have no idea what the hell happened. It's like, yeah, when Steel Ball Run first comes out, the villain, he's like this, like, ugly, chubby looking thing, but then it's like we get to the second half, all of a sudden he's like fucking be shown in handsome. It's like, what the fuck happened?
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird like that.
It's
like
I mean,
Very
really,
bizarre.
just, God damn it. God damn, you had to throw in the bizarre. You had
I'm
to top
sorry.
I forgot what my point was. was gonna be.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to throw you off, dude.
Bottom line, Diavolo looked dope in the manga, and he looks dope in the anime.
Ha! I get it. Oh yeah, he absolutely totally did. Oh, my God. Once again, David Productions did not disappoint. I mean, my God.
You know, my only problem with Diavolo is not with his design and not really even with his personality. I just think he's got a shit backstory. Mostly because I'm like, how are you born in a prison that is just females? And like,
right.
Like,
well, like Ryan and I know we talked about that when we actually got the backstory. Speaking of which, I think in the manga, this was actually the point in the story when we got Diavolo's backstory. So yeah, just think about that. We're about to go into Endgame, and it's like that in the manga was when we got Diavolo's backstory. Whereas in the anime, they pushed that bitch up even farther. Like, pretty much when Doppio was first introduced was when they decided to drop the backstory. So it's
I think that's probably that's probably for the best, because I mean, again, the whole Doppio Diavolo relationship is very confusing if you don't have that information.
Yeah. Well, that's where I was like, that was another thing, like Ryan and I, we were actually hoping that because of how weird and confusing, his backstory was in the manga, we were hoping that maybe we would get like a couple more answers in the anime, but if anything, we just got more questions.
Yeah, it's a lot more questions.
Yeah, really.
But yeah. But I think it's like, if I think suffice it to say, just from Diavolo has been on screen for what, 5 minutes or something, and it's like already he's shaping up to be really damn good.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's not even one of my my top favorite JoJo villains, but I already love what the anime is doing with them.
Oh man. So it's like it's
no, go on.
Oh no, I was just about to say first all this stuff happens with freaking Doppio leading Bruno to the Coliseum to meet with Polnareff. Then we get the big reveal of Diavolo after all of this time. And then comes the one thing another thing Danny has been looking forward to this entire freaking week.
Oh god, yes, because shit is about to go tits up.
Guys, can I just comment on something real quick though before we get into that?
Yeah,
sure.
One thing I just found funny is just how they just mistook Diavolo for Trish, and just whenever they would show Trish, but you would hear Diavolo or Doppio's voice, and I don't know why. I just found that fucking hysterical the first time I saw it.
Well, it's a good thing I've been practicing on my Trish impression.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, here's another thing. Again, I know this was in the manga, but this is something I gotta call into question. This is, again, the whole, what the fuck's going on with Bruno right now? Because it's because they're saying that, with the way his body is, he can't really see things like physical objects, but he can still see and converse with people because he sees their souls. So that's how he's able to hold a conversation with Giorno, for example. So it's if Giorno was holding something, let's just say a book or something, Bruno, he would not see the book, but he could still see that Giorno is there so he can have a conversation. So it's how is it exactly that Diavolo pulls this whole thing about oh, my soul is so similar to my daughter's, so therefore I am going to mask myself to make myself look like my daughter's soul. It's when would you do that?
Well,
Like,
I mean,
I know Diablo's a special case, but it's still one of those things like, wait, what? Like, so are you telling me that, like, if Jordo knew how to do that, if he was having a conversation with a dead Bruno, he could mask his soul to look like Dio, and Bruno would be like, what the fuck?
what he'd be like, what the fuck's a Dio?
Nani?
Yeah, so I mean, that's what that makes very little sense to me. That's where it's like, I mean, I know there's a lot of, connections and shit, between, father and kid, but it's like,
I wonder if it's like
the whole masking the soul thing. That's where it's like, really?
I wonder if it has anything to do. I doubt it does, because with their stands, it wouldn't make any sense, like ability wise. But like,
I don't think that's something the stands are doing.
But like, no. What I was gonna say is, remember in Stardust Crusaders when it was like Dio and Jotaro were like, we have like this, we have the same stand, we have the same stand, and I'm like, maybe they have just, maybe it's something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's like we have the same sort of sand because we're family. I don't know.
I mean, it's like, again, it's like, I know Trish, like, because, Trish can detect where Diablo is, like, well, not even so much, like, exactly pinpoint, she just knows that it's like, uh-oh, he's here. She can't tell where he is, though, but it's like, it's like, okay, I get, yeah, that is kind of weird, but even then, it's like, it's not very precise, so it's like, okay, I can excuse that.
That was kind of like with Jotaro, and I think, not Jotaro, but Joseph with fucking Dio in part 3, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. So that's where it's like, okay, that, I mean, yeah, but it's like, it's like, I can understand, and probably even like overlook something that weird just because it's not a precise radar or anything. I mean, that's what we have the Rancha for. But it's like, yeah, with Diablo, that's like, that made no sense to me when I was reading it in the manga. It still doesn't really make any sense now. It's like, how can you mask your soul to look like another? It's like, how? Like, when the hell did Diablo realize that he could do this? Like, when has he ever had to do this?
Yeah, right.
Well, he has had to try to keep up his identity, like, for a while, so, I mean, maybe that's one thing he had to do.
It's like, yeah, if that's the case, it's like, why bother doing all this other shit just for the sake of hiding your identity? Just make your soul come off as Trish, and then there you go. Just go ahead and pretend.
Well, again, we're asking when he has had to do this. I mean, maybe it was a very rare case, and he just kind of, I don't know, maybe just kind of.
Oh yeah, I forgot I could do this.
Oh shit! Maybe I can try this.
Wow, that actually worked. All right, let's go with the flow.
Yeah, no, it's like, and people complain about Jordo with his gold experience. It's like, gold experience is just becoming like a do anything stand. It's like, yeah, you're gonna bitch about that, but you're not gonna complain about like all this random crap that Diablo is pulling out of his ass just so that he can get ahead. Really?
Oh, trust me. The fact that these stands or other abilities, like the fact that they're a bit on the batshit side, that's only just the tip of the iceberg. No, it will be nothing compared to what we're gonna see next episode. Seeing as how we got a very quick glimpse of Silver Chariot Requiem.
Yes, like I said,
God.
Things are gonna go tits up, and I mean, it's as I said. I think it's like, I know this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but trust me, you have not seen anything like what you're gonna be seeing during this Requiem arc.
When it's all done, you're gonna say, "Wow, all this shit I've seen is Stardust Crusaders and Diamond is Unbreakable. That's butch compared to this shit."
Basically, we're fucked.
Yeah,
we're fucked. We're fucked.
I mean, this is so goddamn cracktastic. I mean, it's awesome, but it's still like even though I do like this end game, even like after even reading Stone Ocean, Steel Ball Run, and seeing where they're going with JoJolion, it's just you can't top the sheer ludicrousness of freaking Requiem arc. Like, I'd say the closest we can get is probably the end game of Stone Ocean, but even then, it's like not nearly as crazy. There's not nearly as much crazy shit that goes on at the end of Stone Ocean compared to the end of Golden Wind.
Oh no.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, in this episode, we only got a quick glimpse of Silver Chariot Requiem, but like what we've been saying, all the badass stuff will really start to kick up a notch or 5, starting next week.
I wonder if it'll have any effect on the next week's opening, because we're reaching the end. So I wonder if we're gonna get the sound effects and the weird stand abilities and whatnot.
Yeah, because if you listen to the full version of Trader's Requiem, there is a part in the song where it definitely sounds like, okay, when it's time for the opening to start getting fucked up, this is the part of the song that's gonna play. And it's like, yeah, considering what happens, it's like, when would be a good time to actually throw that in there? So for all we know, I mean, it could start next week. It could start the week afterwards, because we're still playing on the whole idea, like,
we still have a few. We still have
this. We still, like, it's like, who is this? Like,
we still got a few episodes left. It's not like total end game right now.
Oh no, we still got like 6 episodes or something. Like Golden Wind is supposed to be about 39 episodes, and I'm pretty damn skippy. The last episode is solely dedicated to the epilogue, like the epilogue that like interrupts everything. So it's like so that's probably going to be the last episode. So I think it's suffice to say, like, yeah, this end game here is going to take up 5 episodes. So I mean, it's probably going to be relatively close to the same length as, like, Jotaro versus Dio, because that fight was 5 episodes long, I think.
Yeah, I believe it was 5 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, it was like, the final confrontation with Dio, that took up a lot of time. And I'm thinking that's how long this is going to be. That's where it's like...
Yeah, this is going to be that length or longer.
Okay,
Sure.
it's like, you know what? Yeah, we'll throw this under a spoiler tag for right now, but it's like, I guess now let's try, speculate, like, what exactly we can expect to see next week as far as the Requiem shit. Because, I mean, it's like, there's so much stuff that happens during this Requiem arc. That's where it's like, okay, just how far, like, how much are they going to be able to get through, like, next week?
That's a good question.
I mean, I'm trying to think, like, the both of you, I mean, you both remember everything that happened during the Requiem arc, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember everything that happened.
All I know is that I mean, this whole confrontation, like, takes its time. So I would not be surprised in the slightest if they pretty much handle it the exact same way with the remaining, like, 5 to 6 episodes.
All right, that's like, I actually opened up the Golden Wind manga, so I'm gonna quickly breeze through. So I mean, it's like, I think it's safe to say, because, like, the real start of the Requiem stuff, if you remember, was Silver Chariot Requiem puts everybody to sleep, and when they wake up is when they realize, oh shit, our souls have been swapped. So we still got to start with that.
Yeah, that's right.
So I mean, that's like, the episode's got to begin. That's got to be how the episode begins. Is where it's like, okay, we see Silver Chariot Requiem is out. Diablo's going like, okay, what the hell's going on? So it's like, that's probably how the episode's going to begin. Everybody goes to sleep.
Establishing how that whole thing works.
Yeah. So it's like, so we got, so everybody goes to sleep. They wake up. They see that they've switched bodies. So we see, like, and it's not just switching bodies, but we also got to gather everybody together again. So it's like, because it's like, we had you had like Jorno, Trish, and Mista, and I guess technically Narancha, because Narancha was in the turtle. So you had the four of them together. You got Polnareff up in the Coliseum. Diablo's right there next to him. You've got Bruno on the ground, like, a little bit of ways away. Like, so everybody, there's some distance between everybody. So we gotta get all the key players in together before things can like really start kicking off. But
Right.
if anything, this is why I'm reminding myself right now. There's one okay. Now that I'm actually looking at the manga again, because probably the one thing that, of course I'm excited just to see, how they're gonna handle that swapping bodies thing, but I couldn't remember if this was closer to the beginning of the arc or if it was about halfway, and I looked at it and it's a little bit closer to the beginning. You guys remember Narancha?
Yes.
So it's like, okay, I don't know. It's like, okay, are they really gonna push for this for next week, or is that gonna be 2 weeks from now?
Something tells you that's gonna be 2 weeks from now.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, because it's like, because that's where I'm just like, oh my god, it's like I was trying to remember that. I was like, oh god, that's right. Yeah, Narancha's death clock. When the hell is that? Because I can only imagine how upset a lot of anime only watchers are gonna be when they get to that part.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be. That's basically gonna be this whole thing. It's gonna be end game, but for a totally different audience.
Right.
Yeah, really. Yeah, because I mean, it's like
they just bite the dust. They bite the dust so fast.
Yeah, it's like, in the manga, there was no fanfare or anything. Like, no lead up, no fanfare, no tearful goodbye or anything. Like, they didn't build it up, or they didn't treat it like the way they did with Abakio or what they're going to do with Bruno, for that matter. It's like, Naruto literally he is snuffed out so fucking fast. So that's actually something I'm real curious about is, with the anime adaptation, that's like, okay, are they going to keep that where it's like fast and quick and just over and done with, and it's like, okay, we don't have time to mourn, we got to go and continue the fight? Or are they going to actually try and add shit to try to drag it out a little bit more, make it a lot more along lines with Abakio and Bruno?
Man, yeah, that's, again, I'm still saying it's probably gonna be about a couple weeks before we get the big deaths that go on as we get further into this end game. But everything else, it's really hard to say. All I know is that something tells me they're still gonna take their time with this entire last portion of Golden Wind, pretty much like how they handled this ending part, in the manga itself.
I'm just hoping no clip shows.
Yeah, really.
We've had enough recaps. We've had enough.
Episode 34.5. Oh, god damn it!
It's like, no.
It's like, you motherfuckers.
I mean, it's already bad enough. It's bad enough that the goddamn Rolling Stones epilogue interrupts right at the end. It's like, it's bad enough that that's probably how it's gonna be in the anime. We don't need any more.
Yeah, really.
All right. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else in particular that we're missing?
Well, I think we pretty much covered all the important good stuff with this episode.
Yeah, I think that about wraps it up.
Alrighty then. Alrighty, so yeah, audience, get ready for next week. Oh, it's gonna get crazy.
It's very, very crazy.
Alrighty, and yes, Gigs, thank you for joining us this week. I mean, I know it's very, very late, but better late than never.
Oh, it's no problem at all. In fact, I'm glad you have me on. I hope I can join for another one of these if you guys want.
I mean, I personally don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind either. If it's like for like a Golden Win Geek Out for maybe like a future playthrough, it's like no, I'm definitely you're more than welcome to join in on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Yeah, because really, I mean, it's like, I know Ryan and I have really been like the big JoJo people. Like BJ wants nothing to do with it for some reason.
He's really scared of JoJo, I guess.
Ooh,
bless you.
Brandon, I know I think Brandon primarily has been keeping up with the English dub.
That poor fool.
Yeah, it's like so he's back with Diamond. He's in Diamond is Unbreakable. I don't know. Well, actually, wait. I think he had to have started. Watching because I remembered what was it, like a couple of weeks ago or something. I remembered. Yeah, Brandon and I were talking. It was like one day, he out of the blue, he's just like, "So I think I found my new favorite character," and it was Narancia. So it's
right.
so I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, Brandon, you actually started watching part 5?" And then I know Brian, Realm Wars. He literally last month he decided, you know what, I might as well give the show a try, and he binge watched. He's been binge watched all parts 1 through 4, and so it's like he finished Diamond is Unbreakable. So now he's about to get started on part 5, and I think he said he was going to start watching it tomorrow. So for all we know, if he manages to binge watch part 5 to get caught up to where we are, who knows? He might join us. So it's like we don't know.
Oh man, but regardless of such, again, Gigs, thank you so much for joining us. My God, we are just getting started with all of this Golden Wind Requiem chaos, and hope you guys will be ready for the next episode as we. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you guys next week for more Golden Wind Geekouts.
Bye.